Hello internet friends, welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in once again to this Further From Finished series. Because of the video that I posted yesterday and had a lot of catching up in that video, I'm able to slow down kind of the pace of these videos again now that I'm pretty much back on track. This was the first squat session from this week, and I've done that, and I did a deadlift session yesterday. That video should come out within 48 hours of this one, and then we should be completely on track and in the moment, no more living in the future, living in the past, all that good stuff. So today something I kind of want to talk about is the importance of getting out of your comfort zone and the importance of recognizing when you need to do that, and also how you can open yourself to some opportunities to improve while doing that, and to give yourself a little bit of grace in some of those scenarios. So obviously in these squats, I'm adding the belt back in. It's a little bit different. This entire program is a little bit different than anything I've done. I do like that it's simple in its design. It's simple in terms of there's not a lot of fluff. There's not a lot of excess that goes into it. But there are a couple of things that are definitely challenging to me in different ways. Someone actually mentioned in the last video, oh, Ben's going back to a 5x5. It's crazy how people always seem to come back to this style of training. To be completely honest, even though that the reps and the sets for most of the, that there are 5x5 schemes in this program, that's pretty new for me. I think the only time I ever used to do sets of 5 was I would do like 3 sets of 5 in my previous programming, or I would do 7 sets of 5 with Smolov. I've never actually run a 5x5 based program ever, I think, with at least not with any consistency. So this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. It's definitely, I've noticed in these training sessions where I'm doing these squats that the weight itself isn't that difficult, but my conditioning through for multiple sets of 5, which isn't even that high in terms of rep count, is definitely a different approach than my comfort and my normal training styles, which I think is good. I think it's challenging me in a different way. It does remind me a little bit of how I used to feel doing Smolov workouts, because you just keep going back to it. And I also think it's important to recognize that the combination of being out of my comfort zone there and the combination of adding the belt back in has thrown off a few things. I'm not particularly pleased with the depth of these squats. I think that a fair amount of that was lack of preparation on my part. I didn't do enough mobility. I didn't do enough workout prep for myself to be performing at the level that I really want to in this workout. And so that's something that I'm definitely, thinking in the back of my mind, looking at that side view, and it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to try and rationalize your way to convincing yourself that it's fine. When you see something that you can improve on, it's important to take that opportunity, especially if you're already out of your comfort zone, to embrace that opportunity for improvement, embrace that opportunity to address a weakness and address something that you're not doing adequately. I'm not happy with the depth of these, especially if kind of moving forward we're prepping for more of a USAPL IPF type of standard that we're reaching for. So that's something that I'll be addressing, and I think most of it has to do with my discipline in the lift, and also my discipline before a workout to make sure that I am as ready as possible. On to the bench presses, I will say that of this entire program, the bench has felt the most improved in terms of my consistency, my adaptation to some of these higher rep ranges in consideration of the frequency of the benching and everything. It's just feeling quite a bit stronger. I feel like the instances of my butt coming up, even with this shorter bench, which still is not the ideal training tool, it's been a lot more consistent. I feel like I'm getting some better positioning, some better involvement with a few different cues that I've been working on, trying to activate more of a kind of keep in mind the idea of a proximal versus a distal approach to how I'm starting the press and starting the descent, instead of letting instead of resisting the bar down using my shoulders and my pecs and allowing kind of this passive lowering of the bar, I'm thinking of it more of activating my scapular retraction and pulling the bar down a little bit more, and it tends to keep me a little bit tighter and have a better press afterwards. I hope that kind of makes sense. It's just a different way of looking at sort of the same thing, but it's been helping me. You see that I did change out, instead of doing 4 days a week of loaded bent rows to protect my back, along with adding the belt on most of my heavy compound lifting now, I'm also switching out 2 of the row days for some sort of variation, since the program itself called for a chest supported row and I just don't have a way to do that. And for everybody who's going to say, oh, seal rows are great, or set up the bench, please remember that my wingspan is pretty much taller than my height, and so to lay down on my already short bench would be quite a task to get the bench and myself high enough that I can actually perform any kind of row without my hands going through the ground. So after doing those banded rows, which were still felt very effective, I did my close grip bench press, so a lot of pressing volume on this day 1, and then did some core that I've just been adding in. I think that I've been pretty consistent about ab wheel rollouts, really trying to focus on bracing my core and building up some more of that tolerance. Something that I noticed at the end of the summer was that some of my core strength had just dropped off, and that's something that happens when you have a strength. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stay a strength. If you completely overlook your ability to improve the areas that you're already developed on, those don't just stay there. They can deteriorate. Same thing with grip strength, same thing with anything. If you, just because something comes a little easier to you, or you have had a history of high performance and development on that, doesn't mean that it just stays there. You still got to work on the things that are strong as well as working on your weaknesses. So that was a combination of my thoughts for this particular session. I'll have the deadlift that followed this workout up in the next day or so, and thank you guys for coming along. Go ahead and check out the workout write-up if you have any questions or thoughts that I didn't cover in this talk, and I hope you're all doing well. I'll talk to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye.